Before we begin, help this channel by subscribe, activate the notification, and share if you can help it. Outlaws of the Marsh, Chapter 3. Master Shi leaves Huayin County at night. Major Lu pummels the Lord of the West. "What shall I do?" Shijin exclaimed. Juhu and the other bandit chieftains knelt before him and said, "Your hands are clean, brother. Don't get involved because of us. It's better tie us up and claim the reward than have your own good name besmirched." "Impossible," retorted Shijin. "If I did such thing, it would look like as if I invited you here so I could get the money. Everyone will laugh at me. We will live or die together. Stand up and don't worry. There's no need to sacrifice yourselves on my account. Let me see what's this all about." He mounted a ladder and called, "What do you mean by coming here in the middle of the night and raiding my manor?" "Don't pretend, young master," the constables replied. "Li Ji, who made this accusation, is right here with us." "Li Ji!" Shijin shouted. "How could you slander an honest man?" "I didn't know at first," the hunter responded. "I picked up a letter from Wang the Fourth was carrying in the woods and took it to the county seat to have it read. This is the result." Shijin summoned Wang. "You said there was no reply. Where did that letter come from?" "Oh, I was drunk. I forgot about it." "Wretch!" shouted Shijin. "You've got us into a pretty fix!" Afraid of Shijin's fighting prowess, the constables didn't dare force their way into the manor. "Better give them an answer," the bandit leaders advised. Shijin understood. "Don't start anything, you constables!" he called from the top of the ladder. "Move back from my walls! I'm going to tie the bandits up and turn them over to the officials for the reward." The constables had no desire to clash with Shijin. "We don't want any trouble," they said. "Bring them out, and we'll go with you to the magistrate together." Shijin came down from the ladder and went to the front of the hall. He had Wang the Fourth taken to the rear garden and killed him with one blow of the sword. Next, he ordered his vassals to pack all his portable valuables and light 30 or 40 torches. He and the bandit chiefs put on their armors and took halberds and swords from the weapons rack. Then they set fire to the thatched buildings in the back of the manor house. Meanwhile, the vassals also packed their own belongings. When the soldiers outside saw the flames, they rushed around to the rear. Shijin set the central hall to the torch, threw open the front gate, and charged out with a mighty yell. Followed by Juhu, Yangchun, and Chenda, and their guards, Shijin and his men plunged into the fray. The young squire was a formidable warrior. Who could withstand him? As wild flames enkindled the sky, Shijin and his men cut a path through the soldiers. He soon found himself face to face with the two constables and Li Ji. Shijin flew into a rage. "When enemies meet, their eyes blaze!" The constables could see that things were going badly. They turned and ran. Li Ji also tried to escape, but Shijin was quickly upon him. With one sweep of his blade, he cleaved Li Ji in twain. Chenda and Yangchun dispatched the constables with one thrust with their halberds each. The county sheriff, terrified, galloped up as fast as his horse could take him. Of course the soldiers dared not to advance. They ran for their lives in all directions. Killing as they went, Shijin and his cohorts proceeded directly to the bandits' stronghold on Mount Xiaohua. Only then did they sit down and catch their breaths. Zhu and other leaders ordered their men to slaughter steers and horses and prepare a celebration feast. Of this, we'll say no more. Shijin remained for several days. He thought to himself, "To save 3 people, I burnt my own manor. Although I managed to keep few small valuables, my larger property is gone completely." He felt uneasy. How could he stay in a place like this? He said to the brigand chief, "Instructor Wang, my arms teacher, is attached to a border garrison west of the pass. I've been intending to seek him out, but my father died. I was unable to leave. Now that the manor is ruined, there's nothing to keep me here." "Don't go, brother," the bandit leaders urged. "Stay on a while, and we'll talk it over again. If you don't want to join us, when things have quieted down a bit, we'll rebuild your manor, and you can become a respected citizen again." "Your intentions are good, but I don't wish to remain. If I can find my teacher and get some sort of job I can distinguish myself in, I'll be happy the rest of my life." "Why not stay and be our chief? Wouldn't that make you happy?" inquired Zhu. "Of course our mountain stronghold is too small for a man like you." "My reputation is spotless. How can I sully the body my parents have given to me? There's no use you're trying to persuade me to become a bandit." A few days later, Shijin decided to depart. The exhortations of the 3 chieftains were in vain. He left his servants and most of his money in the fortress and took only some small pieces of silver which he wrapped in a bundle. A broad-brimmed felt hat, topped by a red tassel, covered the soft black bandana which bound his head. Around his neck was a kerchief of bright yellow. He wore a white silk military gown tied at the waist by a plum-colored sash 5 fingers wide. On his feet were looped hemp sandals, good for mountain climbing. A sword hung from his waist. Shijin tied his bundle to his back, took up his halberd, and bid farewell to the 3 chieftains. They and the other bandits saw him to the foot of the mountain. Weeping, they parted from Shijin and returned to their stronghold. Shijin followed the road leading to Yan'an Prefecture. He ate and drank when hungry and thirsty. He stopped only at night and set out again the next day at dawn. He traveled in this manner alone for more than half a month until he arrived to Weizhou. "This is also a border garrison," he said to himself. "Maybe my teacher, Instructor Wang, is here." He entered the town. It was a bustling place, with several streets and marketplaces. On a street corner, he saw a small tea house. He went in and sat down. A waiter approaching him, "What kind of tea would you like, sir?" "I'll have a cup of steeped." The waiter brought his order and placed it on the table before him. "Where's the town's garrison command?" asked Shijin. "It's that place just up ahead." "Do you know if they have an arms instructor from eastern capital, a man called Wang Jin?" "The garrison has many arms instructors. There are 3 or 4 named Wang, but I don't know whether any of them is Wang Jin." While the waiter was talking, a big fellow, who looked like an army officer, strode in. His head was bound in a bandana with figured swastikas buckled in the back with twisted gold rings from Taiwan. A raven black plaited sash bound his parrot green warrior's gown at the waist. On his feet were yellow boots, embossed with 4 welts of brown leather in hawk talon design. He had large ears, a straight nose, and a broad mouth. A full beard framed his round face. He was 6 feet tall and had a girth of 10 spans. When the newcomer had taken a seat, the waiter said to Shijin, "That's a major. You can ask him about Wang Jin. He knows all the arms instructors." Shijin rose quickly and bowed. "May I invite you for some tea, sir? Please join me." The officer saw that Shijin was a big stalwart fellow who seemed a man of valor. Then the two sat down together. May I be so bold to ask your name, sir?
I'm called Luda. I'm a major in this garrison. And who are you, brother?
My name is Shijin. I'm from Huayin County in Huazhou Prefecture. My teacher, Wang Jin, used to be an arms instructor in the mighty Imperial Guards in the eastern capital. Could you tell me, sir, whether he's here in this garrison?
Say, aren't you Master Shi from Shi Family Village? The fellow they call Nine Dragons?
Shijin bowed. I am that humble person. Luda returned his courtesy.
Meeting a man of fame is better than just hearing his name. Is your teacher the Wang Jin who got it wrong with Marshal Gao in the eastern capital?
The same.
I've heard of him, but he's not here. They say he's with the old General Zhang in the Yan'an garrison. Weizhou is a small post. Young General Zhang is our commander. Brother Wang is not with us. So you're the young Master Shi. I've heard a lot of good things about you. Come out and have few drinks with me.
He took Shijin by the hand. As they were leaving, Luda called over his shoulder,
Charge the tea to me!
It doesn't matter, Major, replied the waiter. Just go along. Luda and Shijin strolled down the street arm in arm. Before they had gone 50 paces, they saw many people gathered around an open plot of ground. Let's take a look, Shijin suggested. They pushed through the crowd. There in the center was a man holding a dozen or so staves. Various packets of salves and ointments, with prices marked, were arrayed on a platter on the ground. The man was a medicine peddler who attracted customers by putting on a show with weapons. Shijin recognized him. It was his first arms instructor, Li Zhong, nicknamed the Tiger Fighting General. Teacher! Called Shijin. I haven't seen you in ages!
Huh? What are you doing here, young brother?
Li Zhong cried.
Since you're young Master Shi's teacher,
Said Luda.
come and have few cups with us.
Gladly, just as soon as I've sold some of these medicines and earned some money.
Who's got time to wait? Come on, if you're coming.
Miss in hand-to-mouth existence. Major, go ahead. I'll catch up with you later. Young brother, you go on first with the Major. Luda was very irritated. He roughly shoved the spectators aside.
Haul your assholes out of here, or I'll beat you to pulp!
He bellowed. The crowd, recognizing him, hastily scattered. Luda was obviously much too fierce. How impatient you are, Li said with a placating smile. He gathered up his arms and medicines, gave them to a friend for safekeeping, and set out for Shijin and the Major. They turned this way and that through the streets, until they came to a famous tavern run by a family named Pan at the foot of a bridge. From a pole sticking out over the tavern door, a pennant fluttered in the breeze, indicating that liquor was sold on the premises. They went upstairs and selected a clean room. Luda took the host's seat, Li Zhong sat opposite, while Shijin seated himself at the side. The waiter, who knew Luda, greeted them respectfully. How much wine do you want, Major? He asked.
We'll start with 4 measures.
The waiter laid out the dishes to go with the wine. What would you like to eat, sir?
Questions! Questions!
Luda exploded.
Bring whatever you got! Add up the bill, and I'll pay! Must you gap so?
The waiter went downstairs. Soon he returned and heated the wine. He covered the table with platters of meat and other food. Each of the 3 men downed several cups. They talked of this and that, comparing methods and feats at arms, just as their conversation was at its liveliest. They heard the sound of sobbing in the next room. The irascible Luda immediately became enraged. He snatched plates and dishes and smashed them on the floor. The waiter, alarmed, rushed up the stairs. He found Luda fuming. If there's anything you want, sir, just give the order and I'll bring it, he said with a bow.
Who wants anything? I think you know who I am. Yet you have the brass to allow people to bawl in the next room and disturb us while we dine. I haven't underpay you, have I?
Don't be angry, sir. I would never permit anyone to disturb you. The people weeping are a man and his daughter who sing at the taverns. They didn't know that you and your friends were drinking here. They can't help lamenting their bitter fate.
There's something peculiar going on. Bring them here to me.
In few minutes, the waiter returned with a girl about 18, followed by a man in his late 50s. Both carried wooden clappers. Though not very pretty, the girl was rather appealing. Wiping her eyes, she made 3 courtesies. The old man also greeted the diners.
Where are you from?
Asked Luda.
Why do you weep?
I will tell you the story, sir.
The girl replied.
We are from the eastern capital. My parents and I came to visit a relative. But when we arrived, we learned he had left Weizhou for the southern capital. My mother fell ill in the inn and died. My father and I were having a hard time. Master Zhang, who was called the Lord of the West, saw me and wanted me for a concubine. He sent people to wheedle and threaten, and finally signed a contract, promising my father 3,000 strings of cash for me. The contract was real, but the promise was false. In less than 3 months, his wife, a hard woman, drove me out of the house. What's more, Master Zhang ordered the innkeeper to demand that we return his 3,000 strings of cash. We never received a penny of his money. How could we repay him? My father is so weak. He couldn't argue with a rich and powerful man like Zhang. We wouldn't know what to do. My father taught me many ballads when I was a child, and we began making rounds of the taverns, singing. We give Zhang most of the little we earned each day, saving a little for our traveling expenses so that we can go home. But the last few days, the taverns haven't had much business, so we couldn't pay. We're afraid Zhang will come, asking for it, and abuse us. Ours is a hard lot, and we've no place to seek redress. That's why we've been weeping. We hadn't meant to disturb you, sir. Please forgive me.
What's your family name?
Asked Luda.
Which inn are you staying at? Where does Master Zhang, the Lord of the West, live?
The old man replied, Our name is Jin. I'm the second among my brothers. My daughter is called Kuai-Lan. Master Zhang is the butcher who sells meat at the foot of Zhangyuan Bridge. His nickname is Lord of the West. My daughter and I live in Lu Family Inn, just up ahead, the town's east gate.
Pete!
Said Luda contemptuously.
So Master Zhang is only Zhang the pig sticker, the dirty rogue who owns a butcher shop, under the patronage of young General Zhang, our garrison commander. And he cheats and bullies too, does he?
He turned to Li Zhang and Shijin.
You two, wait here, while I beat the varlet to death. I'll be right back. Oh,
wait! They grabbed him. Calm yourself, brother. They pleaded.
Let's talk this over again later.
They finally managed to restrain him.
Come here, old man.
Luda said to the father,
I'll give you some money. Tomorrow, you can go back to the eastern capital. How about it?
Oh, if you can help us return home, you'll be giving us a new lease on life,
said the father and daughter. But we're afraid the innkeeper won't let us go. Master Zhang has ordered him to collect our payments.
Don't worry about that,
said Luda.
I'll take care of the innkeeper.
He pulled out 5 ounces of silver and placed them on the table. To Shijin he said,
This is all I've brought today. If you have any silver, lend it to me. I'll give it back tomorrow.
It doesn't matter, brother. No need to repay. Shijin extracted a silver bar, weighing 10 ounces from his bundle, and put it down beside Luda's money. The major looked at Li Zhong.
You lend me some too.
Li Zhong produced 2 ounces of silver. Luda was annoyed at the smallness of his offering.
Big-hearted, aren't you?
He snorted. He handed the 15 ounces of silver to the old man.
This will cover your traveling expenses for you and your daughter. Go to the inn and pack your things.
He directed.
Tomorrow at dawn, I'll come to see you off. Just let that innkeeper try and stop you.
Old Jin and his daughter thanked him and departed. Luda returned the 2 ounces to Li Zhong. After the 3 men finished 2 more measures of wine, they went downstairs.
I'll pay you tomorrow, host,
called Luda. Just go along. The owner of the tavern said, You can drink here on credit any time, sir. Our only fear is you won't come. The 3 left Pond Family Tavern. On the street, they separated. Shijin and Li Zhong went to their respective inns. Luda returned to his quarters near the garrison and angrily went to bed without any supper. His landlord didn't dare to ask what was wrong. Old Jin returned to his inn with the 15 ounces of silver. He settled his daughter down, went to a place far outside the town, and hired a cart. Then he returned to the inn, packed their belongings, and paid their rent, fuel, and rice bills. After that, they could only wait for the morrow. The night passed without incident. Father and daughter rose at dawn, lit a fire, and cooked a breakfast. When they finished eating, they collected their utensils. The sky was just turning light. Luda strode into the inn.
Boy,
he called.
Which room is old Jin's?
Uncle Jin! The attendant shouted. Major Luda is here to see you! The old man opened the door. Oh, Major, please come in and sit a while.
Sit? Nothing!
Retorted Luda.
If you're going, go! What are you waiting for?
Old Jin summoned his daughter and raised his carrying pole to his shoulder. He thanked Luda and started for the inn gate. The attendant stopped him. Where are you going, Uncle Jin?
Does he owe you any rent?
Luda demanded. He paid last night, but Master Jung has ordered me to collect the money he laid out for Jin's daughter.
I'll return the butcher's money in person. Let the old man go.
The attendant refused.
Take this!
Luda slapped him across the face with such force that blood gushed from his mouth.
Here!
The punch that followed knocked out 2 of his front teeth. Crawling to his feet, the attendant scuttled to the interior of the inn and hid himself. Of course, the innkeeper dared not to intervene. Jin and his daughter quickly departed from the inn, then left the town to get the cart the old man had hired the day before. Luda, afraid the attendant might still try to stop them, sat himself down on a stool in the inn and remained there for 4 hours. Only when he was confident that the old man was far away did he leave the inn. He went directly to the Zhuangyuan bridge. There, Jung had 2-room butcher shop with 2 chopping blocks. 4 or 5 sides of pork were hanging on display. Jung sat behind the counter by the door, keeping an eye on his 10 or so assistants as they cut and sold meat. Luda came to the door.
Butcher Jung!
He shouted. Jung recognized him. He came out rapidly from behind the counter and greeted him with respect. Major! A pleasure! He directed an assistant to bring a bench. Please be seated, sir. Luda sat down.
The garrison commander has ordered me to buy 10 caddies of lean meat, chopped fine, to be used for filling. There mustn't be a speck of fat in it.
Right, said Jung. He turned to his assistants. Pick up a good cut and chop up 10 caddies.
I don't want those dirty oafs touching it,
said Luda.
You do it yourself.
Certainly, said Jung. Glad to. He selected the 10 caddies of lean meat and started mincing. The attendant from the inn, his head bound in a white handkerchief, arrived to tell Jung about old Jin. But when he saw Luda seated at the door, he was afraid to come any closer. He stood under the eaves of a house, observing the proceedings cautiously from a distance. After chopping for an hour, Jung wrapped the minced meat in a lotus leaf. "Shall I have it delivered, sir?" he asked.
Deliver nothing. What's your hurry? Now, cut up 10 caddies of fat meat. There mustn't be a speck of lean in it. This is also for filling.
"The lean can be put in dumplings, but what good is the fat?" Luda glared.
When the commander gives an order, who dares question him?
"As long as you can use it, I'll chop it for you." Junk selected a cut of 10 caddies of fat meat and began mincing. By the time he wrapped it in a lotus leaf, the morning had gone, and it was the hour for lunch. The inn attendant dared not to approach. Even other customers were afraid to draw near. "Shall I have this delivered to the garrison command for you, sir?" asked Jung.
No, I want 10 caddies of gristle, chopped fine, also to be used for filling, and I don't want to see any meat in it.
Jug laughed awkwardly. "Are you making fun of me?" Luda leaped up, one package of chopped meat in each hand, and scowled at the butcher.
That's exactly what I'm doing, making fun of you.
He flushed the contents of the packages full in Junk's face. The shower of meat stung the butcher into a rage. From the soles of his feet, fury surged into his forehead. An irrepressible flame blazed in his heart. He grabbed the paring knife from the butcher's block and jumped down from the shop steps. Luda was waiting for him in the middle of the street. None of the dozen or so clerks from the neighboring shops dared to mediate. Passers-by stood frozen in their tracks on both sides of the street. The attendant from the inn was struck dumb. The knife in his right hand, Jung reached for Luda. With his left, Luda seized the outstretched hand, closed in, and sent the butcher strolling with a swift kick in the groin. Another step forward, and he put his foot on Jung's chest. Raising a fist like a vinegar keg, Luda thundered.
I was roving inspector of 5 western military districts under old General Jong. People might very well call me the Lord of the West, but you're just a meat-slicing butcher, a low cur. Where do you come off giving yourself such a title? And who gave you the right to force and cheat Jin's daughter, Quillian?
He landed a punch on Jung's nose that flattened it to one side and brought the blood flowing like a sauce in a condiment shop. Salty, sour and spicy. Jung struggled vainly to rise. The knife fell from his hand. "A good blow!" he cried.
Mother-raping thief!
Said the major.
How dare you talk back?
He punched the butcher on the eyebrow, splitting the lid so that the eyeball protruded. Red, black, and purple gore flowed like swatches of cloth in a draper's shop. The spectators were all afraid of Luda. None of them ventured to intervene. Vanquished, Jug begged to be spared.
You curvy knave!
The major exclaimed scornfully.
If you had shown any guts, I might have let you off. But since you're so lily-livered, I won't.
He struck the butcher a heavy blow on the temple. Jug's head rang like the clanging of gongs, bells, and cymbals in a big memorial service. The butcher lay stretched on the ground. Breath was coming out of his mouth, but none was going in. He didn't move. Luda pretended to be incensed.
Playing dead, eh? I'll hit you a few more.
He had observed that Jug's face was changing color.
I only wanted to give the varlet a beating.
He said to himself,
Who would have thought that 3 blows would kill him? They're sure to hold me for a trial, and I've nobody to bring me food in prison. I'd better get out of here.
He rose and strode away, pausing briefly to look back, shake his finger at Jug's corpse, and shout,
Go on it, playing dead! I'll settle with you later!
Neither the butcher's assistants nor the clerks in the neighboring shops had the courage to stop him. Luda returned to his quarters and hastily packed. He took only some traveling clothes and a bit of silver. His old garments and heavier things he left behind. Carrying his staff as a weapon, he sped out of the south gate like a wisp of smoke. Although Junk's family and the inn attendant worked on the butcher a long time, they couldn't bring him back to life. His wife and neighbors went to the prefecture and filed a charge of murder. Court was called into session, and the prefect took his place and read the documents of accusation.
That Luda is a major of the garrison,
Thought the prefect. Instead of issuing an order for his arrest forthwith, he mounted his sedan chair and went to the headquarters of the garrison commander. He stepped down from his chair and had a soldier at the gate announce him. He was ushered into the main hall where he was received by the commander. The two men exchanged courtesies.
What brings you here?
Asked the commander.
I've come to inform your excellency that Major Luda, without cause, beaten to death on the street a butcher named Jong. I wouldn't presume to arrest him without reporting to your excellency first.
The commander was startled.
That Luda is a skilled military man,
He thought.
but he's rough and crude. Today he's committed a murder. How can I cover up for him? I must let him be taken and questioned.
To the prefect he said,
Luda was originally an officer of my father, the old general. I had no proper aid, and he was sent here as a major. Since he's committed a capital offense, you may arrest and interrogate him according to law. If you get a confession and the crime was proved, you must inform my father before passing sentence. Otherwise, it might be a very embarrassing if, at some future, my father should ask for him back. I'll get to the bottom of this and send a formal report to the old general before any sentence is passed.
He said farewell to the commander, left the garrison headquarters, got into his sedan chair, and returned to the prefecture. There he resumed court and issued an order to the police inspector on duty for Luda's arrest. The officer, with 20 men, set out immediately for Luda's lodging. He left only a little while ago with a bundle and a staff, the landlord told them. I assumed the major was going on official business, so I didn't dare ask. The police inspector directed that Luda's room be opened and searched. All that could be found was some old clothes and bedding. Taking the landlord with them, the officer and his men searched the town from south to north. There was no trace of Luda. The police inspector returned to the prefect with the landlord and 2 neighbors in custody and reported,
Major Luda has fled to escape punishment. No one knows where. I've arrested these neighbors and his landlord.
The prefect ordered that they be held, and that Junk's family and close neighbors be summoned, along with forensic experts, local officials, and the ward chief. He made a careful examination of the victim. The butcher's family encoffined the body and stored it temporarily in a monastery. Appropriate documents were filed, and the prefect ordered his police to apprehend Luda within a specific time on pain of being beaten. The complainant was allowed to go home after filing a surety bond. The close neighbors who had witnessed the crime were beaten for failing to rescue Jung. Luda's landlord and neighbors were not charged. An urgent proclamation offering 1,000 strings of cash for Luda's capture and giving his age, birthplace, and description was posted everywhere. All concerned were then released and told to await further notice. Jug's family went into mourning. Of this, we'll say no more. To return to Luda. After leaving Weizhou, he hurried pell-mell east and west, passing through several prefectural towns. With him, it was the case of any food when you're hungry. When you're cold, rags save life. Any road when you're frightened. When you're poor, any wife. With no idea where to go. After many days of wandering, he arrived in Yanmen, a county seat in the prefecture of Daizhou. It was a bustling town with many people and thriving markets. Carts and horses filled the streets, which were lined by shops conducting trade and commerce of every type. Although only a county seat, it was more prosperous than a prefectural capital. On a street corner, he saw a crowd gathered in front of a proclamation. Someone was reading it loud. Illiterate himself, he pushed forward to listen. This is what he heard. By order of the military commander of Taiyuan, this county hereby publishes the following notice from Weizhou. Wanted, the killer of Butcher Zhang, name Luda, former major in the Weizhou Garrison Command. Any man who conceals him or gives him food and shelter shall be deemed equally guilty. Whoever arrests and brings him forward or offers information leading to his arrest shall receive a reward of 1,000 strings of cash. As Luda stood listening, someone threw his arms around him from behind and cried, "What are you doing here, Brother Zhang?" He pulled Luda away from the street corner. If this man hadn't seen him and dragged him away, Luda would never have shaved off his hair and beard, changed his name, which identified him as a murderer, and wrecked the idols in the temple. And as a result, his Buddhist staff smashed open a dangerous road. His monk's knife slaughtered unjust men. Who, after all, was the person who grabbed Luda? Read our next chapter if you would know.